So today is the first nice day to fly. It's actually 20 degrees out and it's not too windy. So I think I want to do a trick tutorial. While I wait for my batteries to charge, I'm just going to talk about this trick a bit. So today I'll be showing you how to do what I like to call the wraparound. Some people might call it a reverse orbit or maybe even a trippy spin, since it's kind of a variation of a trippy spin. I may have first seen this trick in Robogenesis' first video, session 5. Personally, I saw it in Rob FPV's channel. He does it in multiple videos and he's just really good at it. So if I were you, I'd go in a simulator and I'd just go find something like a lamppost and get used to flying past it and go reverse like this and just fly looking at the sky and try to stay level. If you come back like this and you're way up, that means you had too much throttle, and if you just crash and hit the ground, that means you don't have enough throttle. Something to think about when you're doing this that might help you is the camera angle. So I got a pretty low camera angle. I think it's 25 degrees on the Chameleon. But what you want to think about is what it looks like. So here I'd be looking up at the sky. So you want to think about how the quad is when you're looking up at the sky. So in this case, the quad would be in about this angle. That means I have to think about how much throttle I need to keep the quad level at this angle. For me, I think it's about maybe a little bit over half throttle for me. But it differs between different quads, different motors, different camera angles, and everything like that. Something else I'd suggest you get used to is to cross-coordinate your yaw and your roll. So most people do that when they're doing a roll, and they want to keep the camera centered, so they're cross-coordinating, the camera stays centered. I can't really show it here that well, but maybe I can find an example, we'll see. The reason you're going to want to get used to cross-coordinating your sticks, your yaw and your roll, is because that's what you're going to be doing when you're going around a tree or a pole. So creatively, this trick has been pretty big for me. Like now I just play around with the yaw much more. It's not just yaw spins anymore and stuff like that. I sometimes play with doing a full 180 yaw and then going through an obstacle, something like that. But yeah, it's just really useful if you want to get used to doing even Matty flips, because you're already getting used to that bottom movement, which is the scariest part of a Matty flip, is when you're going backwards near the ground, right? So if you get used to that feeling, the Matty flip's going to be way easier. This trick isn't really easy. You're going to be crashing on the back of your quad a lot. So the problem I have with the Chameleon is I've broken a lot of antennas here because it's solid, right? I got to find a better way to do this because it always crashes here and it just snaps the antenna off. I've gone through maybe 5 to 7 antennas like that, 2 axes, about 3 race 412s, both my Fox ear antennas. Yeah, it's just, so yeah, get ready to break some antennas if you have like a hard mounted antenna like this one. Batteries are charged. Let's go. So once you got the simulator practice, or you just don't feel like practicing on a simulator, you're gonna go outside and you're gonna look for a nice little tree or light pole or whatever you can see that's like straight up, so you can wrap around. So there's a decent tree back here, but it's a little too scraggly at the bottom, so that would not be a good tree to start off on. I'm gonna go on a higher tree just to make it easier for me to do. So basically, all you're gonna do is you're gonna find a tree like these two. You're just gonna start by going up and back, pulling back out. So go forward, look at the trees, pull back, like that. You're just gonna slingshot back and forth. So basically here what I'm doing is constantly looking at the top of the trees. So here you can see all I do is pitch back, I don't even change the throttle. And then I only change the throttle up when I pitch back forward. So the reason I didn't change the throttle when going into the trick is because when I flatten out, I'll have more than enough throttle for my quad to get lifted up a bit. That's all the momentum I need to stay level, right? And right here I add more throttle because I'm leaned all the way back, so I'm going to need way more power to be able to stay up in the air. And once you're comfortable with that, you're just going to go around like that. I think you can see my sticks here. I'm cross-coordinating my 2 sticks. My yaw and my roll, sorry. It's hard to talk while I'm flying. So something I've failed to explain here is that you actually turn into the tree before you actually do the trick. So here I'm turning, and then when I'm looking up at the trees, when I cross coordinate and come back out. So So if you look at this again, I'm using yaw to keep the tree centered. I'm using pitch to look up at the tree. So you can see that it's at the middle of the wraparound that I stop applying upward pitch and start applying forward pitch in order to get ready to exit the trick. So see that as I apply the forward pitch, I'm also applying more throttle in order to pop out of the wraparound and not hit the ground. I'm also applying slight roll as I add the forward pitch in order not to fly too far to the right and keep reverse direction. The amount of roll you use will depend on how wide you want your wraparound to be. There's a lot of stuff happening here. You're using your pitch, roll, yaw, and throttle, so I hope I didn't miss anything. So to recap, here's what you want to do. So as you're approaching the object you want to wrap around, turn towards it to give yourself that sideways momentum. And then as you approach, keep looking towards the top of the object in order to have a smooth entry to the trick. And then as you apply upward pitch, add just enough throttle to keep altitude, but not so much that you fly up or into the object, because that's obviously not what you want. So the bigger the wraparound you're doing, the more you're going to need to cross-commute pitch and roll with yaw in order to keep looking at the tree while orbiting it. And finally, once you're at the middle of your trick, start pitching forward and adding throttle to pop back out in reverse. Just a side note to this, don't keep your throttle on for too long, because if you do, you're just going to scour it up in the air, and that's not what you want. You just want enough reverse momentum. There's a lot of stuff happening in this trick, so I hope my explanation helps. If it doesn't, feel free to ask me questions or correct me in the comments. I'd love to make more content like this, so if there's a trick you need help with, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. I'm no expert, but I do believe that we can all learn from each other, no matter how experienced we are. This drill didn't come out the way I'd hoped. It was much harder to explain this trick than I thought it'd be. Either way, I hope you learned something and that you enjoyed this video. Thanks.